Strings of Hope Kids presents An Evening with Ray Parker Jr. and Friends, benefiting the Guitar Center Music Foundation, where tonight we begin our journey to give away 1,000 guitars to 1,000 kids across the U.S. and change their lives forever through the power of music. Tonight's virtual concert is brought to you by Mitchell Guitars, Go West Creative, and the Guitar Center. Featuring performances by Ray Parker Jr., Waddy Wachtel, Kyle Cook, Gio Evans, Kevin Toney, and Freddie Washington. Also featuring Emily Hackett, Christian Renard, and Kat Matthews, tonight on Strings of Hope Kids. Now from Nashville, Tennessee, here is your host, David Fischette.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Strings for Hope Kids. Tonight we are starting a journey to give away 1,000 guitars to 1,000 kids all across the United States. You know, so many of us have been home for months and months, and we're thinking about the summer months approaching and the kids being home. And think about kids that don't have an opportunity to just run out to a music store and grab an instrument and start to learn. There's a lot of kids in need around the country. And so tonight we hope to do a little bit of our part to make a difference there. And so we're gonna give away 1,000 guitars starting tonight and throughout the next few weeks. And so tonight you have an opportunity to participate with us in a few different ways. One, if you're a child between the ages of 7 and 15, you can go to our website and you can apply to be gifted a guitar. If you know someone or you know an organization that supports kids that you would like to nominate to get a gift of guitars or a single guitar, you can do that on our website. Or if you want to partner with us and you want to be part of the solution and you want to help make a donation to supply some of these guitars, you can do that as well at our website at stringsforhopekids.com. Super excited about tonight. I'm going to be hosting us here from our studio at Go West Creative in Nashville, Tennessee. But I will be co-hosting with my partner in crime out in Calabasas, California, the man who came up with this entire idea and is really the machine that is behind this whole concept. I want you to welcome from your home, this is Chris Renard.
Hey, Dave.
I'm applauding.
How are you?
People are cheering in their bedrooms and their living rooms all across the country, Chris.
They sound great. Thank you for putting all this together. It's a great journey.
Oh, thank you, man. And I see that you're in the music room at your house. Is that what it was made for?
Yeah.
It was a music room?
Kind of. It used to be my office, and then it got converted into a music room before I ever used it as an office. And not by me, by the way, by somebody else in this house. Yeah.
Got it. So Chris, as we get going here tonight, I think it's really important before we start our first performance, if you could tell folks at home, you know, how you came up with this idea and why this is so important to you. So give us an idea of where the idea came from.
Yeah, it's interesting because obviously the world as we know it has really changed these last few months, and as a family we try to do charity things together, and I've been involved in a charity called Challenge Athletes Foundation for like 12 years, and my family's been a big part of that. And we're sitting around the dinner table one night, and this is probably late March, going, what could we do to help people, because people are on edge and they're unsure and they don't know what's going to happen. And we started talking about kids and kids being at home and not being able to go outside or do anything. And so we were discussing that at the dinner table and kind of tossing around ideas of what we could do to help. And so we're sitting there, and then we finished dinner, and then all of a sudden I hear my son playing his guitar like he's always playing all the time, right? It's nonstop in the house, which is fantastic. We love it.
What Christian does, yeah.
What he does. So I'm like, So I turn to him and I say, hey, we should give 100 guitars away to kids. And he said, like, Dad, that would be amazing. That's so cool. I said, yeah, we should, some kids that are stuck at home, let's give them some guitars and let's help them find the passion for music during this time. So I said that, and then I went out on a bike ride like I usually do. And I thought, wow, 100 guitars would be cool, but let's do 1,000 guitars. That would really have an impact, right? Let's do 1,000 guitars. So I come home and I share that with my wife, and I'm like, hey, what do you think? Let's do 1,000 guitars. And she says, okay, another one of your great ideas. I'm like, hey, what are we going to call it? She goes, how about 1,000 guitars and a crazy Chilean husband? And I'm like, well, that one might be taken, but we can use that maybe as possible name for the organization. But so I came up with this idea. And sometimes, Dave, we come up with ideas and we're not sure, like we think they're great, but we got to talk to other people about it. So I called a few friends and people I respect and asked them, hey, I want to do this. What do you think? And it's interesting. A lot of friends that are not artists, they said, hey, that's awesome. That's very cool. It's very nice. And then all my friends that are artists, they said, you have to do it. It's amazing. You have to do that. And then, so I was really like, okay, I want to do this. And then, of course, the final call was to you. And I called you up and you said, we're doing it. And I said, okay, I guess we're doing it. And you said, hey, we're going to do a live stream concert. I'm like, okay, whatever that is, let's do that. And so you convinced me to make this happen. So thank you. You were the nail in the coffin. So
it's great. Yeah, it's been a great partnership, and it's so excited. It's such a brilliant and such a generous idea. And of course, we reached out to a lot of our musician friends, and the first one that picked up the phone, and of course, he always says yes. He's such an incredible guy, and he's a mutual friend of both of ours, is of course our buddy Ray Parker Jr. And so, really, what happened is, Ray started calling together his friends and said, this is important.
Right.
Ray's got a great story. And they all said yes to Ray. And so it's really exciting to have him as our anchor for this evening. So
yeah, it was
tonight. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, Ray's been super generous with his time and his contacts. And we had a little bit of false start here just because of what's been happening in the last month in the world, and we decided to put off the live stream. But, Ray's been an anchor. He's just an amazing human being, just awesome.
Yeah. Well, Chris, tonight is all about music, so I think these people watching at home probably want to hear a little bit of music. So why don't you say we go to Ray Parker Jr.'s studio in Calabasas, California, and hear a little bit of music.
Let's hear it for Ray.
Oh, yeah. Woo! I'm in love with the other woman. My life is fine till she blew my mind. I'm just the average guy. I fool around a little on the side. Never thought it would amount to much. Never met a girl whose love was so tough. Who'd have thought a one-night stand could turn into such a hot romance? When she did it to me, I slipped and fell in love. Oh, I'm in love with the other woman. My life was fine, yes it was, till she blew my mind. I knew the rules of the game. Supposed to hit it once and break away clean. Should've never gone back, I know, but I had to have just a little bit more. Our friends laugh, but that's alright. I may be a fool, but I know what I like. Now I hate to have to cheat, but it feels better when I sneak. Ow, I'm in love with the other one. My life was fine, yes it was, till she blew my mind. Somebody help me, ow, I'm in love with the other woman. My life was fine, yes it was, till she blew my mind. this affair is unique. All my life, I've never met such a freak. She keeps me going strong for so long. By the time I get home, it's all gone. Makes me wanna grab my guitar and play with it all night long. Here we go. Ow! I'm in love with the other woman. My life was fine, yes it was, till she blew my mind. Tell me, is anybody else out there ever fell in love with the other woman? With the other woman? With the other woman? Oh, with the other woman.
Yeah, Ray.
Ray, thank you. Yes.
Awesome. That was awesome. Hey, David, I don't know if you know, but that song hit that was Ray's first solo hit, and it hit #4 on the Billboard 100 when he released that song.
I did not know that. Ray, did you know that was your first Billboard hit?
#1 solo hit.
That was good.
Yeah.
Well, it was the first one I released by myself. All the other was Ray Parker Jr. and radio. And then before that, they were radio.
Yeah.
So that part I did.
Got it.
So Ray,
Ray,
Ray, you and I talked a little bit about, you shared your story growing up in Detroit and what it meant for you to have your first guitar and how that impacted your life and how your dad would make you play the guitar outside because he was trying to leave to go to work at night. Do you mind sharing a little bit with everyone about your story about what your life would have been like without the guitar?
Well, first I started off on a clarinet, and then as I got taller and older, I just decided the clarinet didn't fit me right. So I saw the Lovin' Spoonfuls on TV, Ed Sullivan show, playing the guitar, and I thought, well, maybe I should play the guitar. That frees up my mouth from blowing so I could talk to the girls or talk and sing or do something. And I wanted to play more than one note at a time. And I grew up in the inner city, and I got to tell you, for me, it would have been working at Ford Motor Company or GM or Chrysler, and that's all people did was, play sports or do some of that. So, playing the guitar actually changed my life because I got in at an early age touring with different bands and stuff like that. And I'm not going to tell you I would have been a criminal because I think I got a nice heart, but I don't know what I would have been doing. It certainly I wouldn't be here talking to you now and doing what I'm doing. So the guitar really inspired me, and I stayed home all the time because I broke my leg at about 11, 12 years old. And I just practiced the guitar over and over and over. And I was pretty much not in quite the situation we're in now because I had a broken leg, but I was stuck just like the kids that we're giving these guitars to are right now. They're stuck at home with nothing to do, and they're starting to get a little antsy and a little bored. So we're so thankful to you giving away 1,000 guitars because it's really going to change the lives of many, many kids that are out there right now doing the same thing I was, sitting on the porch, playing, waiting to get discovered. And by the way, I was on the porch because my dad and mom, they just couldn't be practicing anymore. It's just too much going on. So I think this is a wonderful thing.
Thank you, Ray.
Well,
It's
Ray.
and I think you were 14 when you started playing with Stevie Wonder. Was that how old you were?
No. That's you way late. Started on spinners at 13. Then I went to Motown, Hamilton Bohanna, who just passed a month ago. He took me to Motown to play with Gladys Knight and the Pips. And Marvin Gaye was 15, so I did a lot of Marvin Gaye records. Then I started playing on all the Holland Dozier records, Chairman of the Board, Frida Payne, Honeycomb, Put in the One ads, that kind of stuff. And Stevie Wonder called me when I was 18, so I could actually leave home legally. I had just turned 18th on my birthday. And he said, let's go on tour with him and the Rolling Stones. Well, that was against what my parents wanted me to do. I was in college. So, I just started college. I got out of school early.
And I wanted to drop out of college and go on a rock tour. My dad wanted me to have security, pension plan, all that good stuff that offers, that was offered at Ford and GM and Chrysler. And wouldn't you have it? I mean, here we are years later, and a lot of those guys, those jobs have been buried and gone anyway. And the music business is actually more stable than the auto business now because we're still around playing music. So I feel very blessed that I got that opportunity. And it all came from me getting a guitar at an early age and practicing my butt off, which I hope at least 1,000 new kids will be doing.
All right, that's amazing. Ray, I know you got a couple of your buddies there with you. I'm super excited. Gio, it's great to see Gio there tonight, and then of course Freddie Washington, bass player of my favorite band on the entire planet, Steely Dan. So super excited. So we're gonna let you have a little conversation with Gio and Freddie and talk to them about what it was like when they started playing, and I think you can give us another song. So I'm gonna let you guys have that conversation.
Okay. Well, we start with Gio. Gio, get your mic. Okay. He's a little shy. He's from Chicago, by the way, and we know a whole bunch of the same people in the same club. It's like a small club, Chicago, Detroit, ain't it?
Very small club.
Yeah, we know all the same stuff. So how'd you start off playing the guitar?
I didn't start off playing guitar. I started off playing drums.
Oh my God!
And at some point, I think long before I knew it, my parents had made the decision that, well, we're not buying no drum set.
It's too loud.
So, well, yeah, obviously. So one Christmas, I got I found a little guitar, a little silver tone guitar, little amp, a Mel Bay chord book, and some picks. And I resented it, obviously, because I wanted to be a drummer. So I stuck it in the corner for years.
Oh my God!
But gradually started picking it up.
Right.
Learn how to play one song, learn how to play another. Here I am.
Well, tell them about some of the people you played with along the way. Once you got your guitar out the closet and decided to play it a little bit.
Well, you know what? It actually, it actually started with Buddy Guy.
Wow.
Yeah. At that time, I used to go down to his original club was a Checkerboard Lounge. Mm-hmm. At least the original one that I knew of was Checkerboard Lounge. And one night we're just sitting there, and they were between tunes, and I was a young guy, so my stepmother, and she just yells out, at a quiet moment in the club, "Hey, let my boy play." Well, she knew Buddy, but I'm thinking, well, okay, one of my brothers must have walked in because I know good and well.
How old were you then?
Oh, 18.
Now this guy's 18 playing with Buddy Guy. How's that? Right? Hey, I was 18 trying to meet Buddy Guy. He's playing with Buddy Guy. You know what I mean? If I just met him, I would have been cool.
Yeah, which was really cool because at that time, Junior Wells was still alive, obviously, and he was the harp in the band. So really good experience. But as it turns out, Buddy Guy asked me to go on the road with him at the same time that the fire department called me. I had taken a test to be a firefighter.
Right.
Had to make a decision. I made the decision to go with the fire department.
That's because his dad was a fireman.
My father, my dad was a fireman. But the beautiful thing was afterwards, when I got back, when they got back from this road trip they did, I went down to the club to apologize to him for not having gone with him.
Right.
And in my apology, I told him, I said, well, Mr. Guy, I'm sorry, I really wanted to go with you guys, but I was on the list for the fire department to go on the fire. Right. And he stopped me, right? He said, wait a minute. He said, "You're a firefighter?" I said, "Yes, sir." I said, now I am. He said, "There's a couple of things that we wanted to be when we came here from the South." He says, fireman,
was one
policeman. He says, but we couldn't get those jobs.
Right.
And I'm just sitting there listening to him. He says, let me tell you something. He says, if you had gone on the road with me and not taken that firefighter job, I'd have kicked your butt. Yeah. He says, you be careful out there and you can come play with me anytime.
Okay, so one thing we know about Gio, he listened to his father and I didn't. That's what we gather from this situation here, right? Okay, so on my other side, we got Freddie Washington here, who we play together all the time for a long, long time, a lot of years. And Freddie's played for everybody. Right now, he's currently playing a lot with Steely Dan, just about every summer they tour. He plays with me, but he's from Oakland. I'm going to shut up now. Freddie, give him a little bit of your history.
Oh, man. So, I'll go back to my first bass. I think I was in the 8th grade. There was a neighborhood group, a gospel group, little young kids, and they were selling this instrument. So somebody was telling me, said, well, these kids around the corner, they're selling a bass guitar. It was a Winston. It looked like a.
I never heard of it.
It looked like a hollow body. The strings were about this high off the fretboard. So that was my first instrument. So I took this instrument and I practiced.
Right.
And then in school, I finally got enough nerve to go to the to get into the orchestra because I wanted to study upright bass. So me and a buddy of mine, we started studying upright bass and did good with that. And then I got my first Fender, which is this bass I've had since the 10th grade. Never parted with it. And then after that, started playing top 40 around Oakland with drummer James Levi. From there, went to Herbie Hancock, Patrice Rushen, then on and on and on and on. So that's basically how I got started. And I moved to LA, and the rest is history.
Wow.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Incredible bass player, incredible guitar player, and I'm sitting in the middle of the two of them, so I'm happy. And by the way, Freddie's a songwriter too. I mean, don't take it mildly. He's written big hits. Like, for instance, "Forget Me Nots." I mean, who hasn't heard that? Then what did they do? They did it in the film, right?
Yeah.
Change it for Men in Black.
Men in Black.
Change the lyrics and whatever they want to do, like they do now, the young kids. They made another hit out of it. So he's had the #1 record twice with that, probably.
Thank God.
Yeah. Can we play it? Oh, you want to play a little "Forget Me
Wanna
Nots"?
do it?
Yeah, let's. Hey. This is a song Freddie wrote for Patrice Rushen with her, "Forget Me Nots."
Sending you forget-me-nots to help you to remember. Baby, please forget me not. I want you to remember. Sending you forget-me-nots to help you to remember. Oh, baby, please forget me not. Want you to remember. Sending you forget-me-nots to help you to remember. Sending you forget-me-nots. I want you to remember. Ow. Sending you forget-me-nots to help you to remember. Oh, baby, please forget me not. I want you to remember. Oh. Sending you forget-me-nots to help you to remember. Baby, please forget me not. Oh, I want you to remember. Sending you forget-me-nots help you to remember. Baby, please forget me not. I want you to remember. Bring it down. Boom. Oh, sending you forget-me-nots to help you to remember. Baby, please forget me not. Oh, I want you to remember. Sending you forget-me-nots to help you to remember. Oh, Baby, please forget me not. Want you to remember. Here we go. That's funky. Oh, I'm gonna join you. Freddie Washington, ladies and gentlemen, there he be.
All right.
Nice job. Thank you. Thank you, Ray, Gio, and Freddie. And as Ray mentioned, Freddie was a co-writer on that song, so thank you for that. And I don't know if you guys know, but that song reached number 4 on the Billboard R&B, and number 2 on the Billboard dance charts. So big hit for Freddie. So thanks for playing that, you guys. Now I'm going to introduce my favorite guitarist of all time, and I'm sorry, Ray, it's not you. I apologize.
You just did that. You just introduced your favorite of all time. What's he talking about now?
I'm going to introduce my favorite guitarist of all time. Happens to be my son, Christian Renard. Come on up. Hey, here's my son, Christian Renard, guys. He was the inspiration behind this whole Strings of Hope Kids. And when we started putting this together, we wanted to do something as a family. And I think it's important for our kids to be involved in charitable work and understand what it means to give and to help those less fortunate. And you guys are going to get to see Christian perform a little bit later in the show. And some of you are going to be thinking, okay, he must get his talent from his dad. And that's wrong. That's absolutely not the case. I just started taking guitar lessons a couple years ago. And Adrian, if you're watching, I'm sorry, my guitar teacher. I apologize. You're super patient with me, but you'll get to hear a little bit more from Christian a little bit later. So I thought I'd bring him up since he was the inspiration for this whole thing and started playing when he was 9. And when what that felt like and what it meant to you and what music has meant to you.
Well, music, not to be cliche, but it's really meant everything to me in my life. I'll never forget my 9th birthday when you walked out with that sparkly blue Squier Stratocaster guitar, and it really lit up my world because in elementary school and middle school and even in high school, I really struggled finding my identity and what was important to me. I was never good at sports. I was never really focused academically. And the guitar is where I really found myself and had something to become really obsessed with and put my all into it.
Yeah, obsessed is...
Yeah, obsessed is an understatement.
Yeah. We would have to take the guitar off of him, literally take the guitar off of him to go to school, okay? You got to take the guitar off, you got to go to school. You're sick in bed, you got to take the guitar off, okay? If you're getting in the shower, you got to take the guitar off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so the guitar really it became a huge passion for me in music in general, and it gave me a place to focus all this youthful energy I had, and a place where you can express your emotions in a positive manner. And it got me into so many other things within music as well. I can play the drums now and bass and keyboards, and I like to produce and engineer and write songs. And so it all goes back to me turning 9 years old and you buying me my first guitar.
Right. Yeah, those first few years when I was coaching you in sports were a little bit rough.
Yeah, those were
a little bit rough on me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I'm sure it was rough on you. I was not the best athlete.
And what other things, you've had some opportunities through music that you've got to do some incredible things?
I mean, I've got to play with a bunch of amazing musicians, including Ray Parker. He's given me a lot of great opportunities. I've gotten to play all around the United States, and I've gotten to share my music with the world through the internet and release songs and have people all over the world hear my personal artistic expressions and also things I've collaborated on with other people. And that's an amazing feeling of accomplishment and pride for me.
Yeah. So great. Yeah, I wanted you to share that a little bit because you're kind of right in that target area. The kids we're trying to target, the 7 to 15-year-olds, they're trying to find their passion and their place in the world. And right now it seems like it's a good time to help them.
it's a great time, and I'm really stoked to be part of the inspiration for this whole thing, and very thankful to be a part of this with you.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see what these kids do with their guitars, and honestly what they do with music in the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
I mean, we could be creating the next big generation of musicians with this.
Yeah, I hope so. It'd be amazing to, in 20 years, have someone up at the Grammys saying, hey, you know, some crazy guy 20 years ago gave me a guitar.
Exactly.
Standing here at the Grammys, you know, thanks to Ray and everybody else that put this together. So, well, thank you for sharing your story. And we'll see you in a few minutes playing at Ray's house. So you got to get over there.
Of course,
We'll see you.
of course.
So, David, back.
Thanks, Chris, and thanks, Christian. That is just amazing. And you know, when I saw him playing it as an 11-year-old boy, it was just a sight to behold. He was so little and just could shred on that guitar. It was really amazing. And speaking of shredding on guitars, I'm super excited about our next guest. So sitting next to me here is from the amazing rock band Matchbox 20. This is Kyle Cook. Everybody applauds at home. They applaud at home. They go crazy. Kyle, thanks for being here, brother.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
No problem.
thanks. You know, so Matchbox 20. I always wondered what the name came from, but as we were talking, the 20 stands for the 20 million albums that you guys have sold.
I see what you did.
See,
Yeah.
see how we're doing? Where the name of the band
Dude,
come
there's
from?
there's a million stories that we created and concocted over the years about where Matchbox 20 came from. In reality, it was. This is the story that I think is true, and it's probably not the most exciting one. Is that everybody was at a bar? I was not there. We went through a host of names, and there were a bunch of names, and like ones that we all hated. And then this one came up, and we've said it a lot. We hated it the least, right? And it was just like everybody's exasperated. It was anything Edgar. It was all kinds of bizarre stuff. Wood. We were almost Wood for a second.
Wow.
So that's a good thing then.
No,
we weren't Wood.
But it's great.
And Wood, WOOD, by the way.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So there were a bunch of patches on people's shirts. I guess this was a period where, or like jackets, when everybody was doing these personalized jackets. And it was just like, all right, what about 20? And, you know, there's a picture of a Matchbox. How about Matchbox 20? It was like that kind of thing. And everybody was like,
don't hate it.
I don't love it, but I don't hate it.
Don't hate it, right? So
and there you go.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah,
so tonight, obviously, we're starting our journey. We're giving away 1,000 guitars to 1,000 kids, and just we're so excited about what that inspiration can be for the next generation, as Christian was talking about. So you started not as a guitar player, but as a violinist. So tell us your journey.
So I think the journey actually began in church, just because I started to get the concepts of harmony. You know, kind of sitting between my mom and my grandmother, who would sing and harmonize together, you know, singing the hymnals. And so I think that's kind of where it started. But I always loved the violin. But the violin can go two ways, right? It can be this beautiful, lovely melodic instrument, or it can be just a screechy nightmare.
Right, it's a bunch of cats.
I kind of erred on the latter side of it.
Yeah.
And then I think there were two things happening too. I was about 12 or 13. I started like maybe 11 playing violin, and I started getting older, and my hands started getting bigger. So it was a combination of I was a screechy mess, and I was kind of missing harmony. I mean, you can play two notes at once, but I wasn't. The piano didn't really appeal to me.
And the violins don't really get much bigger, right?
Right, exactly. So I needed more strings. We needed to get that sorted. And then Guns N' Roses had just basically dropped Appetite for Destruction, which ate the world.
Right, changed everything.
I was just, I wanted to be a rock and roll guy.
And we're glad you did.
Thank you. But it felt natural when I started playing it. And my stepfather had a 12-string that was kind of falling apart in the, in our attic. And I kind of stumbled upon it one day, and he had Stairway to Heaven, the sheet music to it. So I started picking that up, and that's kind of where it all started. It just felt natural. It just felt like it was something that I could control and make sound good right away.
So your first guitar experience was a 12-string.
Yeah, it was a 12-string.
That's ridiculous.
But it was missing. It was missing strings, so I don't know. If
Okay.
It was
a 9 string.
It's like a 9 string.
Got
exactly.
It. Yeah.
I still can't
Yeah.
I still can't string a 12-string very well.
Yeah, I mean, a sucky guitar player, but I play
Yeah.
some 12 strings. That's
Yeah.
not easy.
Yeah,
You're,
you
you're
spend
covering
all
a
your
lot of
time
real
tuning
estate.
it anyway, so it's probably best that
Right.
it was missing some strings.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
So tell me about the solo project. What you're working on now?
Okay, so 2 years ago I put out my first debut album, record called Wolves, and everybody can go stream that in their kitchen and their cars and their boats and their
You have some cool
bedrooms.
videos with that one. You had some very interesting videos with that one.
Yeah. I had this animated company do the first video. But I don't know, man. Like it was an interesting record to come out with because unfortunately I just was kind of my ex-wife and I's relationship was coming to a close. And so there was all this kind of cathartic material that was kind of building up.
Yep.
And it maybe wasn't the most advisable thing to kind of write this, to sort of release this this collection of all these sort of dark, mellow, kind of weepy songs.
But it was good for you, though.
The one I'm going to play is the one that actually has energy on the record.
Got it.
It was good for me, yeah.
It's the least weepy.
Right. It's one of the least weepy ones.
Got it. Awesome.
So that record Wolves came out a couple years ago, and I actually have a second one, In Your Own Time is what it's titled, and it was going to come out this year, but I've kind of decided not to do that.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons. So
can't really support it in a tour. Yeah.
Yeah. So and speaking of Matchbox 20, we were supposed to we just announced the new dates that are now 2021. So we were supposed to be rehearsing for the amphitheater tour right now, or pretty much right now. So here we are. This is kind of the first studio performance experience I've had. Thanks for pulling me out of hiding.
You are welcome. You're welcome. That's why you got paid so much to be here tonight.
Right.
All right. Well, Kyle, I know these people want to hear you play.
All right.
So thanks for being here, brother.
Okay.
And play the song.
Thank you. So this is a song on Never Goodbye.
Kyle Cook.
I unload like a gun. Words get to falling one by one. Something in me now is taking life. I try to numb it down, but it don't die. It don't die. It don't die. And now I've been building up and burning down.
Give away a bunch of guitars right now, and then
If I was a fool, well, I can see it now. But it was I was born, then I could name everything that I could take. I'm the one you thought you wouldn't find, but love won't keep you satisfied. Well, you'll always be there on my mind. It's never goodbye. A heartbreak, let it come, watch it pass. Know that when it's better, you'll remember where you're at. There was I was born, then I could fix another million miles with thicker skin. I'm the one you thought you wouldn't find, but love won't keep you satisfied. Well, you'll always be there on my mind. It's never goodbye. I'm the one you thought you wouldn't find, but love won't keep you satisfied. Well, you'll always be there on my mind. It's never goodbye.
Awesome. Wow, what a great song. Love that song.
Thank you, my man.
You there, Dave?
Unmute my mic. Unmute my mic. Am I good? Are you hearing me now? Can you hear me now?
What a great.
Hey,
So,
he's amazing. That was so much fun. I was shouting. He's right up there in studio B, like we like to call it here at Go West. So let's do some fun things, right? I want to talk a little bit about giving away some guitars. And so you met our buddy Ray Parker, and Ray, as I said, was a mutual friend of Chris and mine. And he introduced Chris to this amazing agent at WME, a guy by the name of Richard Weitz. And if you haven't seen this, if you haven't read it in Variety or any of the big trade rags, Richard and his daughter, Demi, have been doing a thing called Quarantunes, just a Zoom call with all these amazing people, right? And the one you were on, Rob Thomas was on that one, right? Speaking of Matchbox.
Yeah,
right?
Rob Thomas, Santana, who else was on it? Kenny Loggins,
Barry Manilow.
Barry Manilow.
It was huge.
Steele was on that. Amazing. It was a really cool show. It was unbelievable. They invited us on. So through Ray, he connected me with Richard, and Richard invited us on because he was raising money that night for Yola, the Youth Orchestra of Los Angeles, for Gustavo Dudamel, who runs that program, similar to the program that he ran, that he was a part of growing up in Venezuela when he was introduced to music. So he created this program to help kids here because he understands the impact of music. So on Richard and Demi's show, we gave away our first 50 guitars to Yola. And they're building a studio in Inglewood, so they try to target areas where there's kids in need. So they're building a studio there. We're going to deliver the guitars to them when they have their grand opening there, so that could be part of that amazing program. And that was all thanks to Ray connecting me with Richard and Demi. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's so incredible. So again, we want to remind you, down at the bottom of the page there, you can see that you can go on. If you're 7 to 15 years old and you're watching this and you'd like to get a guitar, you can go on and apply for yourself. If you're outside of that age group and you know somebody in that age group, either an individual or an organization that services kids around that age, you can go on and nominate those people to get some guitars, either individually or a group of guitars, or you can also go on and donate to the cause if you want to partner with us to give these guitars away to these kids this summer. 1,000 guitars we're going to give away this summer, so super excited. This has been a lot of fun so far.
It has.
So, Chris, go ahead.
Go ahead, Dave. I was going to say, we've given away a few guitars, even though this is the official launch of the campaign tonight. Because some of the things happening, we delayed a little bit, but we've given some guitars away. And through an amazing organization, San Bernardino Teen Music Workshop, a gentleman there connected me with some kids in need, and we delivered some guitars to these kids that are part of this amazing workshop. He has 250 kids. And if you guys go to their website and see the music they're putting together as young adults, you're going to be blown away. So we gave some guitars away there. And we also gave some guitars away to the Laredo Boys and Girls Club that had a request in through Guitar Center Music Foundation. So I connected with them, and we gave them 10 acoustic guitars, which they received, and now it's part of their program. And, I think, Dave, what we should do right now, the only thing now is give guitars away. Let's give some guitars away.
We should.
What do you think about that?
I think you should give some guitars away in your neighborhood, and I should give some guitars away in my neighborhood.
I'm going to do that right now. So let's give away 10 guitars to the Conejo Valley Boys and Girls Club. A friend of mine, Jonathan Weiss, who was one of the people that said I had to do this. He didn't give me a choice. Jonathan has been a part of the Boys and Girls Club out here forever, so I wanted to do something in his neck of the woods. So let's give 10 guitars away to the Boys and Girls Club of Conejo Valley. And now, don't be afraid. Give some guitars away. It's up to you.
I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. And I think those 10 guitars are amazing. But I think what we're going to do, we have 2 Boys and Girls Clubs here in Nashville. So we're going to give away 20 guitars to the Boys and Girls Club here in Nashville. So that's 30 there. And all right, so we're all together. We've given 100 guitars away. We still have 900 guitars to give away. Please reach out. Contact us. Let us know who you know, who you want us to give these guitars to, and we're going to change some lives. right? Chris, I've got another question for you. When you hear the word "awoo," what do you think of?
My wife's credit card bill just came.
No. Besides your wife's credit card bill, what do you think of "awoo"?
Okay. I'm thinking of a song in my head right now, and it's something like the Werewolves of London.
Werewolves of London, yes. We have an incredible guest who sent in a video for us, and he couldn't be here with us tonight, but this is one of my favorite guitar players. And I tell you what, when I was a kid, I just got to tell you this. When I was a kid, the bass player in my band, his dad was a guy by the name of Dan Dugmore. And Dan Dugmore played with James Taylor and Linda Ronstadt. And this guy, our next guest, Waddy Wachtel, this incredible guitar player, was always hanging out at Dan Dugmore's house. And I was a little skinny, 18-year-old kid, and I just idolized him. And he looks exactly the same as he did 35 years ago, whatever it was. I was 18. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, let's hear from Waddy.
Do you know some of the other guys he played with, Waddy? I think you and I talked
about. Oh, yeah,
them.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Waddy also, I said James Taylor, but of course he played with Stevie Nicks. He played with the Rolling Stones. He's played with
the Rolling Stones.
A ton. Absolutely. So let's hear from Waddy Wachtel.
Hi, everybody. My name is Waddy Wachtel. I wanted to talk to you today about simplicity in writing on the guitar. And I'll use this lick to illustrate it. My friend Roy made up this lick years ago. Very simple. We couldn't find a song to put it in, though, for years. We tried and we tried. Finally, one night, my friend Warren Zevon and I and Roy were sitting around, got a phone call from Phil Everly, one of the Everly brothers, and he suggested we write a song with this title, Werewolves of London. I had just gotten back from London, so I looked at my friend Roy, after years of not being able to use that lick, and said, Roy, play that lick, will you? And he started going like this. And I started going like this. I saw a werewolf with a Chinese menu in his hand, walking through the streets of Soho in the rain. He was looking for the place called the Ho Fooks. Gonna get a big dish of beef chow mein, and I played, I guess. You go, ah-ooh, werewolves of London. Great way to get yourself going. It's a good lick to learn, and it's a good example of how simple guitar parts can be to make a song that lasts forever. Okay, guys, you take care. I hope I see you all soon. Be safe, be careful. Bye-bye for now.
I love that. Waddy Wachtel, such an amazing guitar player, such a monster. And that song, I promise, will be an earworm stuck in your brain all night long. Ow! So I am sitting here with my next guest, and Chris had the opportunity to talk to his son Christian. I am sitting here with my daughter. This is Brianna Bradshaw. I'm not used to the new married last name, but this is Brianna.
Me.
And so we want to talk about growing up in a family and growing up with music and being a kid, and so just a little quick history on me is I did not have a musical family. My parents didn't play instruments. My mother played an accordion when she was a kid, but we didn't grow up really with music in the house. And so I was on a family vacation. I was in our hometown of Rochester, New York, and my cousin Joe, when I was 15 years old, was a guitar player, and he showed me how to play a couple of licks, and I was hooked. And while I was on that vacation, my mom took me to a music store, bought me a guitar. And I'm not a musician for a career. That's not what I do. But I'll tell you what, I was a musician when I was a kid. I was in bands. And when I was 19 years old, we got a financial backer that was taking care of our band. And that guy bought us a huge sound system for our band, which sat in the garage of my parents' house. But whenever we played a club, there's always a PA there. Rehearsal halls always had a PA there. So I got the idea when I was 20 years old to go out and get a couple of turntables and start a mobile DJ company. And I'm telling you what, that mobile DJ company is what this company is today. 35 years later, we are now a creative agency that does work all over the world. And it's because I started playing guitar when I was 15 years old. And it's a direct line right back to that. But, Bree, Bree, you were raised in a house that parents that were both musically inclined. So love to hear a little bit your story of what it was like, as a kid, as in high school, and then how music plays a role in your life today.
Yeah. So obviously, like you said, had two parents that were both musically inclined. You played a little piano here and there, but mainly guitar was what you did. And then my mom has an amazing voice, has been a singer her whole life. And so you guys never pressured us that needed to be something that we did, but always encouraged finding some form of expression. And so that was through different arts, but music was something that you guys could tell early on, was something that we could all hear it well. None of us were tone deaf, which was probably a gift. Having musical parents, it was something that you had to learn to kind of become a language or a way to share experiences with each other. And so we could learn how to communicate better through our relationship with music. And then also having a mom who had an amazing voice, it always gave me something to aspire to, where I, could kind of gauge where I was within my own musicality based off of her and her skill. So yeah.
Got it. Singing, dancing, all that growing up. And then when you got to high school, talk about that, because
took a different turn.
It did take a huge turn, but you were quite successful.
Yeah, it ended up working out pretty well. So in high school, kind of found how I could start combining all those musical different expressions together. I did dance, I did music, I did theater. And so one thing that was really important to me is, from the psychology side of things, when you are a teenager, your brain hasn't cognitively developed enough yet to be able to understand or comprehend a lot of the emotions that you're starting to feel in your body for the first time.
And you don't know what the word cognitive means.
And you don't know the word cognitive. Yes, you learned that in college. So for me at that time, basically, they use the word outlet. You need an outlet, right? Boil it down to, you're a teenager, you have a lot of emotions in your body, and you need to try to find somehow a way to express them. And so I think at that age specifically, music becomes this outlet for people. We could all find a song that you would send to a crush, you would show to your parents, because it was communicating something that you didn't know how to communicate yourself. And so for me, that's really where that became such a big part of my life, is because when I was dancing, music was the thing that inspired certain movement. When I was in a show, I was trying to communicate a story to other people. And when I was singing, there was a personal message that I was wanting to share with people through my own voice. So that's definitely how it kind of got me through high school, and helping me learn, especially for those who are more introverted, how to communicate or express when you don't actually have the words.
And I can be a proud dad moment, right? I can say that when she graduated high school, she did win the top honor award for all-rounded arts person at the school.
Yes.
You were like one big sports award, and for the top athlete, and for the top music artist person, that was you. So that was a very proud moment.
Yes, it was. And it is, also okay. And I would encourage this for anybody who's watching who is at that age. If you don't have your one art, that's okay too. That it can be, that was my big thing, is that that was part of the reason I got the award, because I had my hand in everything, because I
Yes, you
couldn't
did.
pick just one.
I don't know
So,
where you got that from. I
Yeah,
do,
yeah.
do not know.
runs in the family.
So real quick, so let's talk about right now, right?
Yeah.
Because again, like me, music isn't your chosen career right now, but how does music play an important role in your life today?
Yeah, well, I think one thing is kind of like what you were saying with your own story of how Go West has come to what it is now. There's a whole butterfly effect of that. If I wouldn't have gone through those certain experiences, I wouldn't be where I am now. And how I see music now is one, my husband is also not a musician by trade, but he does play the guitar, and that's a way in which him and I can relate to one another, is that I like hearing him play the guitar and he likes to hear me sing, and that can just be a way that you can emotionally connect to somebody. Some great karaoke nights, knowing how to bring down the house still, but also
still rocking the heart tunes?
Yeah, still a couple heart tunes, but that was actually to the point now where I developed my music taste and the way in which I live my life. I listen to oldies, and that's because of my parents. I listen to mainly anything that was from the 70s or 80s. I have all of your records from that time, and that's been a big thing that both me and my husband really relate to now, is that was a big part of both of our lives growing up, and that's was a common interest between us. But then with my brother-in-law, the way in which he likes to communicate with people now is he'll always say, like, what is your top albums that you appreciated this year? And that's how he can learn more about who somebody is how music affected them. And the last piece of that is that for me, even though I can be extroverted, I am an introvert, and it's hard for me to communicate my emotions a lot as an adult even. And so one thing that I did actually during my wedding is that I asked for everybody to give me a list of their favorite albums, and then I went through all those, and as a gift to each one, instead of being able to communicate exactly how I felt about them standing by me, I gave them just a piece of paper, and it had a song that made me think of them off of their albums that they loved, and I picked a song off of one of my favorite albums.
So sweet.
And that meant more than any of my own words could say, because it was through a commonality of music.
And the emotion.
Yeah.
Music has got so much power, and so that's what we're saying. So again, if you want to get a guitar and you're in the right age group, reach out. If you know people or organizations that you think that this could change their life, please go to the link below. Or if you want to donate, you can do that as well. Thank you, Bree. It's a pleasure sitting next to you, and it makes my heart very happy. So we're going to go back to Chris and Ray in Calabasas, California.
Chris and Ray, okay, I'm here. Okay, I see you right there. I got you. I lost my.
I see it. Thank you, David.
Need help.
Right.
Here we go.
So Ray, you're gonna. I think Kevin's coming up with you, and I know you guys have been friends for a long time. I think he played on one of your songs a long time ago called "After Midnight." Did he play on any other songs with you?
Yeah, we did The Other Woman and a bunch of stuff together, and Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I wasn't sure which other songs he played on, but I could see that he had been on that song. So yeah, we're looking forward to hearing him play. Now this song for Kevin reached number 6 on the Billboard Top 100. So when you hear it, dance, and let's take it away. Walking in Rhythm.
Thanks, Ray. I'm so excited to be a part of tonight's performance and efforts by Strings of Hope. I want to share with you how I got into music and why it is one of the loves of my life. As a young child growing up in Detroit, Michigan, I came from a musical family. My older brothers and sister, they all played music, and music was always around us. By age 5, I was taking piano lessons from my sister, Hethen. And by the 3rd grade, I also was playing saxophone and cello proficiently in orchestras and in the school bands. By high school in Detroit, I knew that I wanted to have music as my career. I wanted to have it as my It was my dream. I wanted to live my dream doing music and perform and record with the best musicians and artists out there. So going to college, going to Howard University, it was a dream come true. My then professor and jazz trumpet legend, Donald Byrd, formed this group of his best students and called them the Blackbirds. The Blackbirds, we had hit records as full-time students. We had awards, accolades, and we made history. I like to now play one of those songs for you. It's something that I think you might be familiar with, one of our biggest hits titled Walking in Rhythm.
Walking in rhythm, moving in sound, humming to the music, trying to move on. I'm walking in rhythm, singing my song, thinking about my baby, trying to get home. It's been so long since I've seen her. I'm tired and so all alone. I've got so far to go now. I've got to get back home. It's been so long since I've kissed her and held her tight in my arms. I've traveled so very far. I've got to get back home. I've got to get back home. Walking in rhythm.
Thanks, Ray. I hope that Strings of Hope will be able to give away the 1,000 guitars to children of need. Continue to support this effort and this event. Now let's go back to the studio.
Awesome.
Wow.
I love that song. I do. I love it.
What a great.
I love that song. So I have to look over there. My monitor's over there. How you doing, Chris?
I'm good. I'm good. These musicians are truly inspiring. Can't believe all their help to try to get cars to kids. It's pretty amazing.
Were you doing like a little dance like I was? I was like walking in rhythm. That's kind of like doing a little cha-cha here. It's kind of a no. You weren't doing that there? Just me?
A little bit back and forth, you know.
Got it. All right, man. Well, we're gonna come back and we're gonna give away some more stuff here soon. I'm gonna talk to my friend right here who's in studio with me. So I'll see you back in a minute, Chris.
Okay,
Chris,
looking forward to
see you
hearing.
back in a minute. So, ladies and gentlemen, sitting here with me is the lovely and talented Emily Hackett. Woo! Applause, 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 applause. Emily, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Oh no, it's my pleasure. Yeah. And I met Emily a couple of years ago. She lives here in Nashville, and actually in 2019 she was part of CMT's country.
Next Women of Country.
Next Women of Country. I keep wanting to say Women of Country to watch. So Next Women of Country, yes. And so Emily, let's talk about when you started your musical journey. So you did not start your musical journey on the guitar. It was the tuba, was it?
It was the flute.
Okay, a little smaller.
I wish I could say that I was still as good as Lizzo is, but I'm
No.
not. No, I actually picked up the flute when I was a kid because I listened to everything that my dad listened to, and he was a big Jethro Tull fan.
I was going to say Ian Anderson.
And
well
so
done.
I was like, all right, I think I like this instrument. But it wasn't long really before I figured out that I couldn't sing and play flute at the same time. So.
Got it. Now, this wasn't one of my prepared questions, but did you and your dad watch Anchorman together and watch Ron Burgundy play jazz flute?
You know, we didn't watch it together, and I never asked him about that moment. But I did buy my dad tickets to see Ian Anderson at the Ryman. It was his first Ryman experience.
Oh,
so
that's incredible. Cool. That's incredible. So tell me about your, obviously the COVID journey everybody's on right now for musicians. I know you were going to have a EP that you were getting ready to release, but now kind of slowing that down. What does the journey look like for you right now?
I think we're all trying to figure that out, but the music is there, and it's songs that I've written over the last few years that I'm psyched to get out, and they're moving in a new direction for me musically, and I'm just excited to share that and maybe reach an audience that I haven't reached yet. So
that's awesome. So some people that may not know Emily and you want to hear some of her music, that's emilyhackett.com.
That's
right? emilyhackett.com. Yeah. And how can they reach you on socials?
Miss Emily Hackett. That's MS_Emily Hackett on Instagram and Twitter.
There you go. Awesome. Will you play one of your songs for us now?
Yes. I would
awesome.
Love to.
Ladies and gentlemen, Emily Hackett.
This is called My Version of a Love Song. I know you don't believe me some days, but I'm always going out of my way to show you how I love you, babe. Don't you know I love you, baby? Put 1,000 words in a kiss. I'd write a novel all over your lips, saying I wish I was better at this, but it is what it is. My love for you's a slow drip, a long trip. After one good strong, a lot of biting just a little bit, yeah. This is my version of a love song. Will you still love me if I get it wrong? Oh, baby, we both know putting it on paper's not my nature, but it's something that I'm working on. This is my version of a love song. Yeah. Whenever I'm blowing up your phone, bugging me to get you back home, it's only 'cause I'm running low. I need you and I to go. I stand slow, a trip, a long trip, one good strong. This is my version of a love song. Will you still love me if I get it wrong? Oh, baby, we both know putting it on paper's not my nature, but it's something that I'm working on. This is my version of saying everything I don't ever say. My version of telling you what you feel, I feel the same. My version of so much more than any I love you, babe. I love you, babe. This is my version of a love song. Will you still love me if I get it wrong? Putting it on paper's not my nature, but it's something that I'm working on. Yeah, this is my version of a love song. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Emily Hackett.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here. That's amazing. I am such a fan of your music. And it's I was talking about the earworm with Werewolves of London, but that song is so catchy. And I will be singing that thing all night long. She needs to be a star. emilyhackett.com. Thank you for being here. And we're going to go back to Calabasas and to our good friend Ray Parker Jr. in his studio.
How's it going? We're here. Oh, okay. I thought somebody was helping, but I don't need no help. I'll do it by myself. I'm Ray Parker Jr. I'm getting ready to introduce Christian, Renard, and Kat. We're going 2 generations down to some younger music, And good luck. Do it. Show us how to do it.
Thank you.
They practiced enough. I know. I trust them. They got it going on.
This is a song called Blue Valentine, and I'm doing a little intro.
time. You've been on my mind, drives me insane. Where have you been? What's the catch? Because I saw you leave and turn your back. Blue Valentine, Blue Valentine, Blue Valentine resides in my mind. Why are you so quiet? And I am so loud. I'm shouting for you, baby. It's like you don't hear a sound. What am I supposed to do? Been looking all over for you. Why'd you have to part so soon? Blue Valentine, what's your name? Because you're on my mind, drives me insane. Oh, where have you been? What's the catch? Because I saw you leave and turn your back. Blue Valentine, Blue Valentine, Blue Valentine resides in my mind. Thank you.
It's Kat and Chris. All right.
Nice, great job, Kat.
You have a very talented, very talented son there, Mr. Renard. Well done. And Kat's got an amazing voice.
Unbelievable. Yeah, they put that song out on Spotify, I think about a year and a half ago, and it's done really well. So if you want to check it out, it's under Nina, Nina, and you can check out their music there. It'd be very cool.
That sounds like a Spanish word.
It is. It's an interesting story. So we call, because I'm from Chile, we call our son Niño, which is boy in Spanish. And so Kat picked up on that and started calling him Niño, so he started calling her Nina, and that's how they came up with the name Nina for their music. So awesome. All goes back to the Chilean roots.
That's it. It's all about the Chile.
Yeah. Always goes back to Chile. Well,
so Chris, this has been an incredible night, buddy. This has been an incredible night. Thank you. I'm so grateful for your brain.
Well, listen. I don't know about that, but before we get to the last song, we have one more song for everybody coming up, and please make sure you stay and watch it to the end because they got some cool stuff they're going to do with the song that's I think you're gonna love. But before we do that, we want to thank a few people for making this all happen, right? So I want to thank my wife and my kids, Natalia and Christian, for being supportive of my crazy ideas that I come up with all the time. So thank you to my family. Want you to be a part of this experience. I also want to thank Guitar Center Music Foundation, Guitar Center, Mitchell Guitars. They've been instrumental in helping us put the pieces together for this charity to get the guitars actually out to people. So I can't thank them enough. Want to thank everybody at Go West Creative. You know, Ellen and Chris and who am I missing here? I'm missing people. I'm missing
Rick. Borgia, of course.
Yes, I'm missing Rick and Colin. So thank you guys for all your hard work on this. And you know, I think one thing that I want to, before we get to the last song, and say is that, you know, these are a little bit different times, and our kids are watching us as adults, how we handle all these social things that are happening, along with things that are out of our control with regards to COVID. And they're looking to us for guidance. And I think it's up to us to show them, a path and how to unite people and bring people together. And I think, when you look at music, definitely does that. Music has the power to unite and to help. And so if we can do that and start with young kids, I think that we could all learn a lot from that. So think about helping out. If you think you want to be a part of what we're doing and you feel like it's something that interests you, go to our website. You can make a donation there, or you can nominate somebody, or even you don't have to help out by doing 1,000 guitars. You can just help out by calling a friend and say, hey, how you doing? That's how you can help somebody, today without that. And I guess the last thank you is you, David, because without you, this wouldn't have happened. This live stream show. When I called you and you said, absolutely, we got to do this and put it together. You're amazing what you and your team have done. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for putting all this together. But do me a favor. One favor. Next time I call you with a crazy idea, please just hang up on me. Don't take my call.
Right. No, I love the crazy ideas. I welcome the crazy ideas. The one thing we forgot to talk about, Chris, and I think Rick's talking to me in the ear and saying vamp a little bit because they're still setting up over at Ray's for the last song. So the one thing we didn't talk about was that in addition to this amazing, and it's another one of your brilliant ideas, and in addition to giving away these guitars to all these kids, you've got all these celebrities that are coming together that are doing guitar lessons. Right. Yeah. So there's a website where you can go on there, and Ray will be on there, and Waddy will be on there. Kyle Cook's going to be on there, and a host of other people that are they're going to be putting together these videos.
We have a YouTube channel, Strings of Hope Kids, a YouTube channel, and there's an introductory lesson, and then Ray teaches you a simple version of Ghostbusters. That's the first song we put up. And the whole idea for me was to get kids excited about getting their guitar and learning the song the day they get their guitar. Because when my son got his guitar, we took him to a place, they taught him a song that day, and he came home and he got excited about playing because he could actually make music. So I wanted to have kids be able to do that easily. And there's tons of songs, and I think it's important to find a good teacher, and there's great programs out there. But the idea was to get a guitar in a kid's hand, and the day they receive the guitar, they can go to our YouTube channel, learn a song, and start playing that day.
That's incredible. Well, again, thank you, my friend, and thank you for this incredible idea and your incredible generosity. You are just one of the most generous people I know, so thank you so much. And
an amazing journey.
And again, thank you. And I want to echo your sentiments, and I really do. I want to thank the team here at Go West Creative that they work their butts off. And in this world, in this time where our industry has gone completely haywire, it seems like this team is working harder than ever for not a lot of work, right? So it's crazy the amount of hours. So really appreciate these guys, and appreciate you. Thanks for being here. It was fun to do that and share a microphone with you for a few minutes and hear your heart. And we have to thank all these incredible artists tonight. Besides Ray, Gio Evans and Freddie Washington, Kyle Cook, Emily Hackett, Waddy Wachtel, Kevin Tony, Kat Matthews, Christian Renard, and of course the great Ray Parker Jr. And we can't finish any show that has Ray Parker Jr. without doing this next song. And I think you know what song it's going to be.
Of course.
Hey, Ray.
With that, I'm wrong with that. Can I play now?
What's up, Ray? Ray, we can hear you. Ray, you're amazing. We're so appreciative of you and your generosity and letting us take over your house and your studio there with all of our team.
Thank you. Hey, Ray, it's Chris. Thank you so much.
And I'm excited.
You're an amazing.
I got to stay healthy now because I got one of these kids with the guitars I want to see in the Grammys or somewhere, and I want them to invite me. And we're going to do this on stage with one of the kids who becomes famous from getting one of these guitars, right?
That's right. Without further ado,
I'm going to play my favorite song because it makes all the kids happy, and it's just a very simple song. Feel free to sing along with it, even if you're at home. Here we go.
If it's something strange in your neighborhood, who you gonna call?
Ghostbusters.
If it's something weird and it don't look good, tell me who you gonna call?
Ghostbusters.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts. I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
If you're seeing things running through your head, who can you call? An invisible man sleeping in your bed, tell me who you gonna call?
Ghostbusters.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts. I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Who you gonna call? When you're all alone, pick up that phone and call. Here we go.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts. I hear lots of girls. I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Here we go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Who you gonna call? If you've had a dose of a freaky ghost, baby, you better call.
One more time on that. I like that.
I said, if you've had a dose of a freaky ghost, baby, better call. Freaking my grill. Bustin' makes me feel good.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts. I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Who you gonna call? When it comes through your tube, unless you just want some more, I think you better call.
Ghostbusters.
Ow! Who you gonna call?
Ghostbusters.
Come on, y'all, louder!
Ghostbusters.
I can't hear you. Who you gonna call?
Ghostbusters.
Say what? Who can you call?
Ghostbusters.
Take me to the bridge.
Thank you.